So today on Project Shop, I am going to attempt to get this plasma cutter back running and cut all the AC compressors that I have, which isn't that many, but we at least want to get going. Now, the problem we had the other day is the electrodes were cooked. So I went to Harbor Freight, 45 and 65. These things were not cheap, man. I spent, look at this, ready? Now these are for the other one. Okay, so the electrodes and the cutting tips. And then I bought ones for the other plasma cutter. This was like almost 150 bucks. This was 140 something dollars, man. I think they're 24 or 22 something. You know, with tax and everything like that. Yeah, look, and this is like nothing. And that's Harbor Freight. They're so expensive even at Harbor Freight. So, I don't know if I actually showed on the video. In the last video when we set this thing up, the inside of this was just... I got to be careful with this one. Has so many more parts than the other one. But look at that. I'd say she was cooked. And then that's kind of like almost stuck in there. I mean, this whole thing is just cooked. And some of these parts you got to buy online, which I keep forgetting to order. I need the drag cup and that whole outer piece because all the ceramics have, I mean, that's just, yeah. So that put a damper in our processing the other day. And I don't know how many I actually cut. I'm trying to gauge like what it's going to cost consumable wise to run this machine. And if this is, because I still got a warranty on this, I can always take it back. I think I paid for either the 1 or 2 year warranty. I got to call Harbor Freight and find that out because, I mean, I'll take this thing back and get a new machine. I won't think twice about it. Okay. Oh, while that's doing that, let me go ahead and let me go crank the air up. So I thought this air compressor was going to be super loud, being that it was going to be underneath this. It really isn't that bad. I think it's actually more quieter. I mean, it is kind of loud, but it's not like overpoweringly loud. Oh, I wanted to fill up that other tank. We'll get it plugged into this too. This thing actually holds its pressure. This is a storage tank here, which I didn't know that was a thing on these. I always thought they had a tank inside. It makes a lot of sense to make that the tank. So that holds pressure, the tank there, and then all the way in the shop. It's hard to see. Let me turn the light on. All the way in here, see this? We'll open this valve. It'll probably kick, it should kick back on. I just have a straight line filling this tank. I could actually plug it into this other one too, but I think I took the splitter off it. I got that other big 80-gallon tank. Now the reason I have to do that is because I only have one 220 outlet out here at the moment. My buddy unfortunately couldn't come by this weekend. He has some family stuff, but I am going to probably just run the line out here and then put a splitter so I can run them both, but I'll just kind of let it build, cut until it kicks on, then I'll just stop, you know, because we don't want to fry the panel. Well, this panel is a lot better than that other one at that shop, but I think we're on a 60 amp 220 breaker, so we'll probably be all right. Anyway, now the compressor's up. Let's get the plasma cutter set back up. I got to get my... I can't imagine, or I can't believe how nice the weather is out here. You know, I thought this was going to be some stagnant hot in the middle of the state, no airflow because we're so far from the ocean stuff. And I gotta say, man, the only thing that is really a pain is the mosquitoes, which it was the same in Palm Beach around, unfortunately this time right here, right around when it starts getting dark. We're about to have a nice beautiful sunset over here. Let's put that in there. Okay, that looks good. The mosquitoes come out with a vengeance. And then they go away. Like they wake up from a nap, and I guess they're angry, and they just come out and bite whatever they can. And then they go back to sleep. I don't know. Guess it would work better if we put it in the right way. Okay. Let's go give this a little power. So right now, that's the only annoying part, is I have to physically unplug one and plug the other in. I think I have enough parts around here to make an outlet. Bam, there we go. To where I can make an outlet where I could just bring one 110 out here, or 220, a big enough cord to where if it had to, it would run both machines, the air compressor and the plasma cutter. But once I hear if I'm plasma cutting and I hear the compressor kick on, I'll either like finish my cut and stop and let it run its cycle, just so we're not putting too much on the breaker. But I don't know. Maybe that breaker, that 60, I think it's a 60. I think that 60 amp breaker could handle running both of these. So I just gotta get my buddy over here, let him look at some stuff. I don't want to hurt this place, and I gotta see, like, this has a whole panel, but where's that panel? Is it coming off of one breaker in the house, or is it coming off of one breaker? We have another, like, this place has panels all over. I don't know. But the only thing I don't like is that, unfortunately, we don't have three-phase. I'm going to find a set of sunglasses real quick. And we're going to run this plasma cutter. And I'm going to go, while I can see, I'm going to go find that other AC compressor so we can cut them all at once. Okay, so I rounded up another big compressor. And I got 3 little ones. I thought I had some more around here. They might pop up. It might be in the bottom of one of them bins over there. I don't know. Hey, what's up, Houndtown? Listen, you're going to have to step away from this one. You don't want your eyes getting hurt or getting burnt by sparks. So we got the plasma cutter up. F04, we remember what that was. Got to plug the plasma cutter in. Duh. Okay. You gotta be careful around here. Okay, and we're back to normal numbers. Oh yeah, that looks real nice. Okay, well, I forget where I was. Oh, I was trying to cut. See, I couldn't remember. It's literally been months since I cut one of these. I can't remember if I was cutting down here or cutting up on the top. We'll cut on the bottom first, and then we'll cut, you know, if we have to, we'll cut the top. I don't know. Pretty sure we were cutting underneath that thing. I gotta find a hammer. So one thing I wanted to do, yeah, I'm sure I had a hammer here for something. You know, a lot of times they leave pretty decent sized nuggets on here. I think I had a saw, maybe I had a diamond bit I was using, not to wear out. You know, eventually maybe we'll go back to one of those hydraulic cutters, just to give a quick snip right there. And you know, that stuff adds up. I forget what I got, a couple pounds out of a whole run of this stuff. $4 a pound, man. You know, we want to keep that. Man, these skeeters are, look at that guy. Ha! Killed you with the lens. Anyway, let's see if we can't get this cut. This plasma cutter is different than the one that they sent me to review on YouTube. This isn't a drag one. This actually is supposed to have a cup that holds it off a little bit. Last time I was using this, which seems to be getting some slag on the bottom, but we need something to hold that tip off, so give me 1 second. Okay, safety glasses on, everything's on. I got my stuff. Hopefully it's not too far away. We'll see. Oh, it's on the top. Shoot. All right. We're just gonna run it, see what happens. Okay, now I've sped that up. When that thing is in an open area, that big plasma cutter from Harbor Freight, that 65 ampere, I mean, it does cut pretty good. Supposedly on certain steels, or maybe it was aluminum, it would cut up to 1 inch. Now, let's see. Let's see what we got here. I don't know if we got, because we stopped and started on this. Oh. Yeah, I see right here. This is nice. This is why when I made this, I didn't want to lock this in here permanently. I always wanted to be able to take this off and run it. And then I had an idea. What if I got 2 plasma cutting tips or ends, and I split everything and spliced it in with the air. It's weird how they have the air come through these. Or I don't know about this one, I'd have to take it apart and look. But that other one, the airline actually had the wires inside of it. So we need to make a little connection cut. Put my glasses back on. Woo! He's loose. He's definitely loose in the bottom. Might be able to just pull it up. Whoa! I think I was running at one point 2 lines just to make it easier. Yeah, I sell all this as prepared steel. I should get a bucket over here. Hold on. Well, for one thing, at least I can see that's copper. And that's a decent sized one right there too. So, I think we just had a little hiccup there. Some dikes. I gotta get my AC compressor bearings back because I ain't done it in a little while. Forgot how the operation went. Alright. So we got a nice little chunk. I cooked the crap out of that copper there. Yeah, I gotta figure out where to cut, where not to cut. We'll get back into it. I'll go get another gaylord of this stuff here. So you can go ahead and just put that right there for now. Now there are a bunch of other little like aluminum bits. If you wanted to get down in there and take this out, I think I was just torching that out or using the plasma cutter and either sending it as iron aluminum. I mean, we really do got to do like a cost. I was selling these as iron aluminum. Is anyone else getting iron aluminum for those aluminum cores? It's like nuggets of aluminum. They must have poured it hot down through there. You know, that's the only way I see them making that. But there's a video on YouTube of a bunch of Pakistanis or Indians, and what they were doing with these is they were pushing out the cores with a big press, and then they just stuck it in another press where it had like a weird blade at the bottom, almost like a Play-Doh, like you would push it through a mold. But they were pushing this through, and it was just cutting these in the strip, this whole thing cutting in the strips, and then they were running it through a hammer mill and then through a mag belt. They were getting all that aluminum out of there. It was a pretty impressive operation. I'd like to do the math on that one day. What I could do is probably heat that up and melt the aluminum right out of there. See how much is in there. I don't know if we'll lose any by melting it, but eventually they were melted in the blocks anyway, you know? So who knows? But for me, I send that with the iron. I get prepared for all that. And I'm pretty sure in the top, I don't think this one, but some of these had aluminum parts up there. Now whether or not we're going to go that far with this, I don't think so. I think we're just going to send this with the prepared steel and move on. I just want to run the machine, put it through its paces, and get it dialed back in to where I feel comfortable going to get some of these and bringing them back here. Now, obviously, without the forklift, getting a Gaylord box of these is going to be problematic. So, as I'm dialing this up, we're also tomorrow probably going to be pouring concrete, our first pad under here tomorrow. I need to stay on that. Like every 2 days, I need to be setting up and pouring and get that done as fast as possible. I don't know. I'm still on the fence of whether or not I want to. What I might do, man, that's a lot. That's going to take, that'll take a whole bunch. But if I can get that continuous thing going and the other mixer, we might be able to start there or start there, whichever way. Form the whole thing out. And then if it's too hard, if it's too much, you know, as we're going, we could just throw a board right here in the middle and split the slab in half, but prep the whole thing. You know, that the only thing is that's going to require moving all of this stuff. So I might have Dakota come in tomorrow after we get back from church and maybe just prep this area, move everything out. That way I can, even if I do split it, that's a new horse. Even if I do split it, at least we get it done. We'll have the form. We can come back the next day, take a break, you know, because I'll tell you what, now that concrete's sitting over there, we got to huff it over here and get it in the machine and stuff like that. That was a lot of work last time. Dakota said he went home passed out. I took a nap after that too. You know, that was a lot of work. I'm not going to lie. That was from 8 a.m. prepping the site, forming it, and, you know, pouring all that. 8 to 3 it took. You know, but we did hang out there for a little bit, clean stuff up, but it was a lot of work, man. The mixing 2 bags at a time was not it. Now we'll be able to have that continuous mixer. We can drop, I think it hold 2 or 3 80-pound bags. We got 60-pound bags, so we should be able to put 3 in there, no problem, and just let it do its thing while we're running the other mixer. I think we can step our production up and get this done a lot quicker than I was thinking. So, yeah. Anyway, what I meant to say, you know, is once this is done and I can get the forklift in here and I can kind of move it around, I can back my trailer up, offload a Gaylord, offload something big. Like right now, if I was just telling my wife, like, I'm kind of glad my generator people haven't had a generator in a while, because it would have been problematic getting it off my trailer. I would have had to process the whole thing on the trailer and try to muscle the stator out of there, you know. And when it comes in them big boys, like that one, I actually used a forklift for that one too. Those little ones not so bad. When you get to that size and bigger, man, you need some help. Forklift, cherry picker, you know what I'm saying? You need some muscle. So, all right, I'm gonna get this next big one in there, and we're just gonna keep cutting. We're gonna get back into a production, and one day I'll get this all set up where I showed Dakota how to run this, and then he can just take care of this. One thing I might do, I got to see if I have enough parts. I found a nice foot pedal, an air foot pedal. So one of the issues I have with this machine is constantly changing the speed Now I could, the way I built this, and I actually flipped this thing over. I had a switch on here where I could plug this into my other plasma cutter, and it was all hands-free. It would do the rotation and whatever all by itself. I can't do that with this. This has the ability to do something where I can maybe put a switch on it. I gotta look it up. But I could put this where, you know, it's going to dial in the rotation, so I can just put that. And that's another problem with the air, that it's all coming back to me now. This I need to change to a electric motor with a variable speed. Something someone was saying use a sewing machine motor, something I can push a pedal, or just hit a switch and have it like I hit the switch and it go to a certain speed, you know, and then if I have to dial it up or down, or have what I want to do with this is have a override on here where I want that orange, because that's where the socket is, to come over here. Now if I have this set for rotation of cut-in to go fast, I have to play with the speed, and then now I don't know where it was, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this where this goes back. I'm going to come in with another valve, or I'm just going to tap the air down there and put a splitter underneath where it gets plugged in, and then I could just you know, full rapid right here, which will make this more efficient, because I don't have to play with this, because every time I play with it, now I'm trying to figure back, dialing it back into the speed and blah blah blah. It's always not the same, because I just want to be able to set this, smack this right here, you know, and then just, that's my rotational speed, and then I can have a full-blown operational thing. Anyway, that's the game plan. Damn, every time. No wonder my GoPros don't last. Oh, I put a good stretch in that too. It's because everything's plastic. Look, that's starting to crack. Everything's just made of plastic. It don't last. It's just garbage. We need to start getting back into making things out of like aluminum or something. But you know, that's not something that's going to last. Shoot, that's not profitable. They want to sell you 10 of these things. So, okay, let's open up this. Enough. Okay. There's that. Now this little thing should unplug. We might be able to cut underneath of it, but this is where we need a bunch of tools on hand to deal with crap like this. Okay. I mean, that seems like a good speed. Oh, see, I should have stopped it right there. I got a full rapid. I like cutting on that line. Seems where that weld is, there's always a flat spot on the stator to let the stuff blast through. We're gonna try right there. Yeah, I think we need to go just underneath this thing, to be honest with you. Now, I was watching this guy, Empire, is it Empire Finds or Empire of Dirt? I forget. He's got a solid setup. And he was one of the first people I seen with a plasma cutter on a tire machine. He would put a self-tapper in the top of this and pick them up and move them around like that. He had a solid system for these. He obviously been doing them for a while. We'll get there. I want to have something to either magnetize to the top or something. We'll figure it out. We'll do something. But I'm going to recut this just a little higher. I don't think that's going to come off, and I got to run that thing up, but we're just experimenting really right now because I forget actually how to do these. Well, not how to do them, but where I was making my cuts. And we're going to do 180 degrees from there. I need like a little tool rack here for the hammer, the cutter, the drill. Oh, that was it that time. There we go. Now that's either some really nice looking copper or some freaking aluminum. Oh yeah, we're good. That's copper. Oh, we was right on the edge. We need to go that way a little bit. Okay, now I'm remembering. So on the weld, I'm cutting to my left side of the weld. And look where the flat spot. If you cut to the right side, you'll be right on the flat spot. Okay? And then, if you go directly across from that, we'll put you directly in the right spot over here. Alright, it's coming back slowly but surely. I'm gonna just run this in the right spot. Oh, we cut through the whole that first time, but back at my shop, man, I had this down to a science, man. I was blowing through these things. Now it's like learning to ride a bicycle all over again. You don't really forget, it's just you might have wobbly legs to start with. Some nice chunks of copper right there. Okay. Got our iron aluminum. I should have a big chunk of that around here by now. And then I wonder how hard that'd be to get out of there. Whoa. Okay. That's full of oil. Plasma cutter did not like that. Hope I didn't hurt the tip. Okay. And that, Steve cut these. He hit them with the grinder on the top. Obviously it didn't drain all the oil out. So we're just going to move on from that before we light ourselves on fire. But, see that flame? That oil can be flammable under the right circumstances. Now, I mixed, I don't know, 15 gallons maybe, or 10 gallons into my used oil mix for my truck. It burnt just fine. I didn't have a problem. I'm going to go set this back in that drain. That was actually a little bit nasty. I think that had some water in it from sitting outside. Okay, now we have some of these. I don't really remember even doing this style at the shop. We got a little bit of wire we can recover, a little bit of copper. So I'm not exactly sure. What I am going to do is try to cut this off. Now I'm going to have to get, for me, and if I have someone else doing this, a proper set of things. Right now I'm just wearing like sunglass safety glasses. Well, we can cut that off, recover a little bit of copper. Every little bit counts, man, especially if you're doing hundreds and hundreds of these things. It's all going to add up one day. Let's see. We're on our tightest spot, so we might just have to clamp this down in here. I don't think I can get this to actually tighten up that much. You're gonna have to put it on the table and just let it. I mean, for the most part, you can just let this thing sit on here. Now, I have no idea where to cut this, so we're just gonna cut underneath this thing. I don't know if I did any of these at all in the last run that I did. I got to get my top. I need something on here with just a slight spring. We're just going to put that there. It'll all come together. I'll gather up some parts and one day we'll do a kind of an overhaul on this. I believe. Okay. See, this is because it's mounted in there weird. It's kind of off-centered. This is where if this was kind of spring-loaded into it, it would just follow that. might be one where we cut it higher, lower. I'm not even sure. Let's just try cutting off the top real quick. I'm gonna have to. All right. I'm gonna turn the plasma cutter off for a second, and I'm gonna turn the air. This is what is gonna be annoying for me right now, because I can definitely tell my rotation has slowed down. And you know what I like better about doing this out here rather than in my shop? I got a nice breeze coming through here, and I'm not smelling any of that smoke. So over at my shop, even with me having this right next to the fan, when I was doing a bunch of this, I would smell that smoke. Now obviously, when I get this set up, I want like almost a hood on this thing, sucking this stuff up into like a charcoal something. Like if I'm going to be doing this every day, I don't want to get sick smelling that, and I don't want people working for me getting sick. So we'll have to figure that out. I have enough big squirrel fans, big boy fans, we can have some suction, but we're gonna have to figure out some alternative energy, because I don't want to be paying to run this plasma cutter all day. That's a, you know, plus the air compressor, you know, everything, it all adds up. So mosquitoes are out in force right now. All right, we're gonna get the air going, and then we'll come back and figure out how we're gonna open this up. They're all pretty much gonna be the same. And I don't even know what these are out of. Are these out of, these might be out of like a refrigerator or something. I don't think these are compressors. Or that says Mitsubishi, so maybe it is. Maybe this is from like a small window shaker, or one of those little split units or something. I don't know, but I hope it's got copper in it. I'll be pretty upset if it don't. Okay, so that was obviously not the place to cut it. It's still kind of warm. I wonder if we should try to cut it down by the bottom. Or let's just try to run the top. We'll start up there, see what happens, get the lid off. At least we can look down in there. Oh, that's going to be a problem. Okay, definitely got to put my gloves back on. So that's one of those weird ones. I'm gonna just maybe cut up the side. Definitely need like welding gloves to do this. And you know what? We weren't low enough on our other cut. Well, let's cut it a little bit lower. Now we know. It looks like there's a couple things here. We'll just have to come up a little bit above that to make our cuts in the future. Now, I really would like this thing to be up. These are all the way in, aren't they? Yeah. I wish I could clamp this higher, because these are actually going to impede this, I think. I think I'm just going to run it by hand. See what we can do. Wow, it's hot. Definitely need welding gloves for this deal. Okay. This has become extremely frustrating. Okay. I'm gonna throw that whole thing in with the prepared. Now, that is copper, but that is one of those. That is one of those ones. I don't know if I'm going to split that with a splitter, or if I'm just going to cut around the top and drag those out. Either way, put it up on the table. We'll figure it out tomorrow. For now, we're going to at least get all these things cut. So the ends of that are copper. So going forward, we'll make sure we cut as close as possible for this. I'll probably clean that up tomorrow. Might as well go ahead and cut the rest of these off while we're waiting for that thing to charge up. I let that one go again because I found coming up was a little bit better. Now I can see down in there. This air motor for this thing must draw a lot of air, because what I noticed is it'll start slowing down relatively quick. Now we can kind of see, looks like we want to cut down right there to relieve this one. There is a weld there. Tell you what, man, that plasma cutter is the way to go. You're not going to cut that with a grinder faster than a plasma cutter. And a torch, you're just not going to, it's just, this is definitely the way to go. Having that instant burn through and just on demand cutting is a game changer for doing this type of scrap, at least. Wow. Oh yeah. Ooh, that's warm. Woo! Okay. We got our iron aluminum there. Looks like this one might need to be unbolted. We'll throw that over here for now. We're going to cut all these nubs off. I will unbolt that because I can at least definitely get 15 cents a pound for that, and that's a lot of this weight. Okay, so I need to drill some holes down in this thing and then put a bracket somewhere. So I have my tools on demand, and this is going to be a nice little workstation. Alright, we got 2 more to cut. Let's see if we got enough air to do them all at once. We got to speed that process up too. Everything needs to be dialed in. I'm just kind of messing around with this stuff tonight. Kind of getting my feet wet again, so we can get this thing cranked up on some production. I'm wondering if I should cut that above that. I think I did decide that last time. do have to do is find that weld. It seems like wherever the weld is, it's where the gap's going to be. It's very important to find that gap, so we're not burning up tips. Tip seems to be mostly intact. I think with dialing and finding the better units, we can yeah, I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and cut this at the top of these brackets from now on, at least for this style. Let's just fire this back up and see what happens. Okay. Yeah, that's the way to go with these. Cut up above by the weld. Then you can look down in there and kind of determine where the edge is. This one's kind of tough. I don't see a weld on that one at all. Yeah, this one ain't got a seam. But boy, it's hot in there. I wonder if I can get that off of there. That's the problem with this. It's not clamping on them right. Again, tomorrow, I'll go ahead and clean that up, or we'll just cut that off somehow, recover that aluminum, or I don't know. That looks funny, man. I have to get into that. That didn't look like it even had aluminum. Alright, so this one's going to be real tough. It has a bunch of notches all the way around. There's no one big flat spot. So we have more options, but they're very slim. This is going to be tough to stay in that thing. I mean, you could measure it and you know, have a good line to follow. What we're going to do is just try to put it at the top. See one, yeah. We'll just try that. See if we can woo! She sprung. Slag might have welded that thing together. Feel like I might be cooking the copper doing this. Make sure this hot metal don't land on our air hose or on our electrical cords. That could be problematic. This is woo! It's hot. Okay, that is copper though. So we're on the right track. Alright, see if we can get one more with our air that we have. This time we're going to cut all the way at the top. As close as we can to the bottom. And then we'll see what's going to be the best. The best for cutting up. Now, I'm not actually using this, I'm just using it as, excuse me, a steady rest. Smoking. I might just go ahead and make some cuts because I can't even see. Oh! This is a puff of smoke. That thing came off with some authority. All right. I'm okay with that. They were a little, those ones were a little tough. And, you know, I might be making, right now I might be making a little bit more cuts than I should. But I like cutting it up, making it easy. Now, eventually, maybe I will do it. Like, I've seen a lot of people online that make the full cut on the bottom. They make one cut up, and then they make like a half a cut or 3/4 of a cut around, and then they pull the piece up. We might start doing that on those bigger ones, but I got to get more in here and kind of just play with them and see where we're at, you know. But so far, everything I did today was all copper, so we'll get a nice little chunk of copper out of that tomorrow. Now that we're done with this, we can shut it down, and I'm gonna let that air build up one more time, and we're gonna cut these. While I got that plasma cutter out, we're gonna open up these and get these prepped. So I'm gonna let the air go while that's pumping up. I'm gonna clean off this bench, get it ready for big boy stator processing. I'll tell you where we're going. Right to the scrap yard.
Dancing. You ever seen your copper dance before?